welcome in. The madness is upon us here. The month of March. It is certainly delivering. That is for sure. InGame live, and we are PrimeTime here on the SportsGrid network. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan, Taylor Mathis in the house as we've got, what started with 54 scheduled games here in college basketball with over 10 in fact, conferences vying for position, trying to punch their ticket to Selection Sunday. And, of course, next week when the real fun begins here with March Madness. But we got plenty going on right now, and it's been Upset City here. Started the day Upset City here with a couple of number ones getting bounced out in their own tournaments, which means we've got a lot of 8 and 9 seeds that are hanging around here. And if you want to know why they call it madness, yes, well, just ask Richmond earlier today, or Toledo, in fact, first thing in the morning. Thanks so much for participating in your MAC conference tournament, but you, my friend, are out. Kent State is in as we welcome in Dave and Taylor, and that is why they call it absolute madness for this month of March. In fact, we just saw poor Sister Jean here, and it looks like Loyola just got bounced after a double overtime effort to the Bonnies here, Dave, 75-54. Thanks for coming, Sister Jean and company, but no longer for you.
Yeah, a little too soon, Joe. It just ended. I mean, the finality of it is so quick.
I'm waiting for the money to hit my account. All right, when it hits my account, it's over.
It's not even posted yet, Joe. Like, please, we gotta double confirm the score. Listen, they're gonna wheel her out, and it's done. It was a nice run, but it's over.
Right.
I'm focused on the Big Ten tonight. You guys are going to have to carry me a little bit. You're going to have to keep things moving because this is the time of year. You know, and is it obvious? I only wore the exact same getup last night, and Penn State took care of Michigan.
Is it obvious?
Yes. We took care of Michigan last night. Listen, it was a long time coming.
Yes.
Michigan has owned us in the football. Hasn't been good. We'll get them in the basketball. Now, you know what we're coming for tonight? Candy stripe pants. Yes.
Oh.
That graphic is old because that has Indiana favored. Penn State's favored now. The money's on the Nittany line.
Yes.
And listen, there's nothing more fun when your team unexpectedly gets going in March and has a possibility. So I got to stay focused. There's a lot of other games on. Ohio State's taken care of. I forget who Ohio State's playing. Does anybody – Taylor, do you remember who Ohio State's playing right now?
Yeah,
I believe they're playing Iowa.
Don't let him get away with it, Taylor. Do not let him get away with it.
In Iowa, we focus on women's basketball, Dave, not on men's basketball.
Fair.
That's how it works.
I'm focused on Iowa women's basketball,
solid
too.
Point.
This is a great story. No, this is fun. But, you won't have to focus on anything else after this next, few minutes. That's fine. Yeah, it'll all be done. It's fine. It's just rip like a Band-Aid.
Wow.
It's off. And then we'll focus on Iowa women's. Do you think they have a shot? Seriously, Taylor, do you think Iowa women that with Caitlin Clark, do you think they have a shot at winning this whole thing?
Of course I do. Of course I do. How could you not think so? How could you not think they don't have a shot? I feel like that would be the perfect cherry on top to a story of Caitlin Clark's career at the University of Iowa.
That's true.
We need to settle down sticking a fork in the Iowa men's team just yet. I mean, they're down 10, 70-60 here with about 9 minutes to go in the second half. So plenty of opportunity here to come. We also have Duke right now with their handful at the break against North Carolina State. Could we see another upset here? We'll certainly keep you posted here as we move along the card. It's going to be a big night in college hoops. It's 6 games in the association here tonight. One of them already underway in Boston, 41-34 right now. The Celtics on top. I got to tell you, did not understand this line at all. Acting as if, Taylor, your Phoenix Suns are Well, quite honestly, like the Boston Celtics, but you're not the Boston Celtics.
Right.
I saw an awful lot of money pouring in on Phoenix today, acting like they were going to pull the wool over the Celtics' eyes. I'm not seeing it. How did you think this game was going to go tonight?
I'm not seeing it either because I went the opposite way. I laid the 5.5 points with the Celtics. I can't trust this Phoenix Suns team, and I know now we have the big three back in, but what does that even mean? What does the big three even mean for the Phoenix Suns anymore? I'm not really sure. So, yeah, the 5.5, crazy to me. I thought it was going to be, honestly, close to double digits. So, 5.5, nothing. I'll take the Celtics all day.
Ooh. Dave, you're a little shocked with how much money was coming in on Phoenix. I'm like, have we not seen this team? Like, I don't care, like, the big three are there or not. Like, it's anybody else but the Celtics on their own home court. Like, my goodness. Although, to their credit, 43-42 right now with about 8 minutes to go. In-game number, by the way, 6.5 for the Celtics. Yep. So we're close to where we started with. And we do have Clippers, Bulls getting ready to tip off, as well as the 76ers, Bucks, and two teams, I think, that's still playing the NBA with the Wizards and Rockets that absolutely nobody cares about. But the Clippers and Bulls are interesting here, Taylor, because if I'm not mistaken, everybody was on the injury report this morning. Was it Kawhi? Was Harden going? Is he not? Paul George is playing. So what were you looking at in this one here tonight? And I already know if he doesn't have the bandana on, you are forbidden from ever wearing it on the show again, Dave. Yes.
Okay. I'm surprised that he does not. Let's should have taken Alex
Taylor get to work here.
I'll
take care of it. I'll take care of it. Go ahead.
I actually did not take any props in this game. I didn't give it a glance. I didn't really give it a look. I feel like there's some pretty exciting. The OKC Dallas game is really the game that I'm looking forward to tonight. So I looked more at the later slate games. These earlier games, besides the Suns Celtics, everything else to me was a little bit of like a skip over. I don't think I'm going to put any money on anything there.
Yeah, kind of with you. I didn't think it was a great. Well, there it is. There it is. It's the only reason we look forward to the Bulls playing when Dave's on. Yeah, of course. Exactly. As Caruso's on.
Listen, we got college games going on, but when we have Caruso, we got to have the headband ready to go. I agree with you, though. This is a really the line sometimes hits you right in the face, and you go, "Wow, I don't know what to do with this game." I mean, the supercomputer, smart projection, Clippers by 5. Look, see what the line is? 5.5. Like, don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with this game.
I know what to do.
Over, under. I don't know, Joe.
I know what to do. I know what to do with this. Yeah. It's Caruso all day long. That's what this is. If it ain't broke, we ain't fixing it. Clippers, by the way, Harden out, Paul George in, Kawhi in. I feel better about the Clippers knowing that Harden's out. We'll have more on that when InGame Live continues.
The Bostonian versus the Buck.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like
this
is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
This
is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Buck.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 point dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I think Kentucky plus the points. I think you want it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes, and they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here to -170 price, followed by SGA at +250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to, like, 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, like something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything he's doing. Like, I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, the madness of it all here. Down to the final 30 seconds here with the Mountain West, with UNLV on their own home court, taking on San Diego State. They have been down double digits this entire game here, and it looks as if we got about 30 seconds left with UNLV only down 3 now, and UNLV needs, and I mean needs, to keep playing and winning games here, as San Diego State's already punched their ticket pretty much to the dance. So this is a kind of an elimination game for the running Rebels here as we welcome you in. It is in-game live. We are prime time here as the madness has begun on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan, Taylor Mathis in the house, and it'd be something else, Dave, if they opened up the tournament and lose. And you had mentioned this earlier off air. I don't think people realize how many games are happening in Las Vegas right now at the same time. It's out of control, including UNLV on their own home court.
I just saw this game last week. I went to the game. San Diego State closes a 2-point favorite at UNLV on senior night on the same court in the same building. Wasn't nearly as many people there that night as there are there right now.
Tonight.
But that's at the Thomas and Mack. Pac-12's at the T-Mobile. The WAC conference is at the Orleans, and the Big West Conference is at the Dollar Loan Center, all within probably 15 minutes of each other. And last year I saw at least one game in every building. It is so much fun. The one good thing about it locally is if UNLV loses, there'll be a lot of seats available, and you'll be able to get in and watch the rest of the Mountain West. I mean, if UNLV comes back and wins this game, they're in. And the Mountain West is going to have at least 5, maybe 6 teams in. San Diego State is in. San Diego State could win the whole thing. But they were a bigger favorite today, Joe. Explain that to me.
Yep.
They played a week ago, lost. And today they're playing again, and they're a bigger favorite than they were last week when they lost. Odds making is silly sometimes. I don't understand it.
Nope. 19-11 UNLV. They're down 2 with 20 seconds left to go now. They did have the lead at the break. So, hey, if there's a home court advantage, sight lines and all, UNLV better have the advantage here. But an opportunity, and like you said, Dave, they're done. San Diego State's in. Whether they win the Mountain West or not is really not material to them. They know they're going to have an opportunity to get back to a possible Final Four and championship. So they are good to go. Not good to go here tonight are going to be the Dallas Mavericks here, Taylor. And you mentioned it. We got a lot of games here tonight across the board in the NBA. Right now, though, 50-48, Boston on top of Phoenix with about 5 minutes to go before the break here. But we learned earlier, Dallas last night, big win. Congrats against Golden State. We woke up this morning to learn that Luka, who left last night's game because of soreness, I don't even know what the hell that is. I don't even know how you leave a game because of soreness, but he left the game because of soreness. He was questionable this morning, and now he was ruled out pretty early on. But yet I'm still seeing some money come in here on the Dallas Mavericks. Are you buying Dallas here tonight, Taylor?
I don't know. This rivalry between these two teams, especially this season, I believe they play each other 4 times total. It's interesting because you have SGA and Luka. You're looking to the big stars to come out on top in a game like this, and everybody's excited for that reason. Now with Luka being rolled out so early, the Mavs are going to have to look to Kyrie Irving, and Daniel Gafford's been great for them as of late as well. So other members of this Mavs team are going to have to step up to the plate here against OKC.
Dave, I mean, it was 6 last night. It was 11 this morning once he was ruled out. Here we go again with these absurd line moves for one dude. I mean, like Taylor said, what is Kyrie? What, he's incapable of scoring enough points to keep this thing within double digits here tonight?
Yeah, you got to find out what the number is where someone's going to take the dog. If you say to someone, you can have Dallas tonight in OKC, 4-game winning streak, but you can't have Luka. No triple-double props, none of that other stuff. I can't give you 8 because you're not going to take it. I can't give you even 10. You're not going to take it. I got to give you a little more than 10 when you go, okay, you know what? Thanks. I appreciate it. I'll take it. And that moves the number back down. I think we're settling. It's going to tip off
right there
a little bit later. It's probably going to settle in 9.5, 10. Makes perfect sense. But I can't these games are so hard to handicap. They're hard to make the numbers and be in the book, but they're hard to actually walk up to the window or push the button on your app and go, yeah, give me this until you see the game flow. That's why these props are good. It's much harder to do pregame with all these question marks.
The total has crashed. I mean, 238 to down to 233.5 now. But don't forget, the last time Oklahoma City faced Dallas, there was a beatdown of epic proportions by Dallas. I mean, they beat them by 30. So we got a little bit of revenge here tonight for Oklahoma City in this spot at home. And how in the hell Oklahoma City lost that game against Indiana a couple of nights ago, I have no idea. So all of this is pointing to absolute, I would not want to be the Dallas Mavericks tonight. But I would want to be UNLV, by the way, who is now heading to overtime. They tied it up without any time left. They are going to OT. This is a 4-5 matchup, by the way. UNLV, the 4 seed, San Diego State, the 5 seed. So they are going to overtime. And, don't look now. But Duke is having some issues here, people. And that really pains me, as they are now losing 48-41 here with about 13 minutes to go in the second half. But, anytime I get to see Filipowski yell and scream in pain is wonderful. It's a good time. We all know North Carolina is winning this anyway, so I don't even know why anybody cares on that here. But, Taylor, let me get your props here in this game. You mentored Gafford and SGA. So one Dallas, one OKC. Even if it's a blowout, you got to figure Dallas is probably still going to get theirs, no?
I am going with, like I just said, because Luka's out, I'm going to go on the Dallas side of things with center Daniel Gafford over 10.5 points tonight. Something that people probably don't know, he can actually make history tonight. In his previous game, just against the Warriors, he went for 5 for 5. He shot 33 consecutive shots in a row. He can beat Wilt Chamberlain's record tonight if he's able to make over 35 shots in a row. So I'm leaning on him to do well because of that fuel that he's going to have with the possible record of beating that. And with Luka being out, it's going to give him plenty more scoring opportunities. So Gafford over the 10.5 points.
Wilt? Did you say Wilt Chamberlain? That's the company he has a chance to beat?
57-year-old record that he is going to be beating tonight if he's able to make, I guess, 3 more shots in a row. Would be beating the record. 2 more shots in a row ties the record.
Wow.
Kind of crazy.
That's crazy. That's nuts. And he knows it too, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. That's a good reason to
I'm sure he's aware.
He's got to know.
Yeah.
Got to know.
Wow.
Well, that's going to make it.
You don't hear.
Make it a hard transition to talk about the Knicks and the Trailblazers. Like that, actually, there's a little bit of hype behind it. Like what's easy about that game, Jim?
The Knicks to lose, Portland to win by a mile. That's it. You got to go plus money in here. Did Portland not win last night? Just saying. Did they not win last night against Atlanta?
Money line?
There you go.
They did.
There's a winning streak. I'm just saying. There's a winning streak in the air. We're breaking Wilt Chamberlain records tonight. That is not something you say every day in the NBA anymore, where Wilt's records are actually up to being broke. Woo! All right, so we got a little something to root for coming up there. We do have a couple of other late games. We'll touch base as in-game live primetime continues.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if they make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I think Kentucky plus the points. I think you won it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes? And they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here to -170 price, followed by SGA at +250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything he's doing. I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats and fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live. Prime time.
Back-to-back just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live. Overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
If we only had a picture of what Gafford looked like, maybe Dave could actually change his headgear and look like. Oh, there it is. All right, Daniel Gafford tonight. Wow. Dallas Mavericks going for all. Well, there it is, Dave. I mean, if somebody happened to have a headband you throw on, you'd look just like them. We can switch to Caruso. Won't matter. 10.5 points here. And if you're just joining us, Taylor laying a bomb on us here tonight with this Dallas Mavericks game where Daniel Gafford has a chance to do something not many dudes in this generation can say, and that's beat a Wilt Chamberlain record of consecutive made shots. And I believe, Taylor, he needs 3 tonight in a row to be able to break that record. But now we're thinking without Luka, we might as well bet everything to do with him tonight, right, in this game?
Right, we might as well. I'm like, if Luka's not going to be in, we put the spotlight here on Gafford with the possibility of making some history. Maybe he has a great, unreal game tonight that's one for the books.
Dave, are you buying? You buying in?
Joe, I'm distracted. It's 71-69. UNLV's up 2 with 1.5 minutes to go. I'm getting texts from people. Are you watching this game? Do you believe this game? I'm trying to tell them I'm on with T-Matt and Raineri, please. Let me focus. But it's coming down to the end, Joe. It's going to be one of these things that, look, it's going to go. It's over the total.
Final shot.
We got there.
Yep.
So we're over the total.
Final shot.
And now it might end up coming down to the last basket. It might come down to literally
71-69. 48 seconds up. We're over here breaking Wilt Chamberlain records, and he's sweating out a UNLV overtime game in the opening round of the Mountain West. No problem there. But let's go to that Knicks game coming up tonight, Dave, because let's face it, nothing says excitement like the New York Knicks laying. How many tonight exactly are we looking at now? 10, 11?
That was 11.
Disgusting number.
11.
It's 11.
Just went to 12 in 4 places. What's going on? Just went to 12.
Can we really trust the Knicks to cover on the road, though? Is that something we all feel? Mind you, not too long ago, this was a team that could barely break 70 against Philadelphia. I'm just saying, it's not like they're world beaters either. So laying double digits with the Knicks is a bit of a problem for me, Taylor. Although I do think Brunson, I mean, you can probably look at this Hart, Brunson. You can probably look that way and get enough points to get up and over on any of those props. No?
I actually took a lot of Blazers props in this game, which is a little weird to say because I know, like, why are we looking at the Blazers? But another random little fact that we've got going on is Blazers center DeAndre Ayton. He's been lighting it up lately too. I'm going with him over 28.5 points plus rebounds. He's been on a rampage lately. He's going for his 7th consecutive double-double tonight. Ayton's averaging 24 points on 64% shooting from the field, and he's collecting over 15 rebounds a game through this stretch. And people like to talk about Ayton being that first pick in the draft that's an underachiever, but he's really showing some glimmers for this Portland team that he can be aggressive in the paint and he can be a monster on that glass. So give me Ayton tonight to go over 28.5 points plus rebounds.
Kind of love that because, who is going to stop him exactly in there, right? Well, I mean, I don't think anybody in the Knicks.
His double-double, if you would just take that, is juiced to minus 245. So I'm like, people are thinking he's going to get a double-double. It's got to be on the glass and with the points, not assists. So that's why I'm leaning towards the points rebounds over there.
Oh, that's really high for a double-double, minus 245. That's a lot.
Right.
Usually, so that's the book telling you that's very likely to happen, and we don't really want you to bet it anymore.
Right.
Like that.
Exactly.
Really, we call that. We used to call that the FU price. If you want to play that FU, go ahead and play it. So that's one of those things. Yeah, you just go. That's a good way to find around it, though. I like what you did there, T. Quick update, 71-70, 21 seconds left. UNLV's leading by 1 point. Yes, this is really going to come down to the end. If I yell,
no, and that is going to double overtime.
You'll know why.
Double overtime. That's what we're looking for.
Please, I don't need that right now.
Yes.
No, we don't need that.
Absolutely. We want to see you have to put on the headband because the sweat coming down from your face you'll have no choice but to put the headband on before it's all said and done, Taylor. You got another prop here, though, Taylor. And I'm glad if you're a Knick fan, you got to be happy to have Anunoby back, right? Just played actually pretty well. Elbow surgery, I think it was, which is kind of crazy. But then he came back and dropped 29 minutes, 14 points, 6 of 11. I mean, the Knicks are 15-2 in the games he has played. He is a monster for this team here. A great trade. Are we backing him tonight?
We are. I'm backing Anunoby over his points total. His primary scoring areas have really been around the rim and from three, especially in the corner. And the matchup against the Blazers, it's soft, especially defensively. They rank 19th overall in the NBA. Opponents are getting to the rim without a problem, and they're shooting from downtown at nearly 40%. You look at that shot profile for Anunoby, he should thrive tonight against the Blazers, especially alongside Jalen Brunson. He's hit this over in 7 out of his last 10 with him, so we're going to go with Anunoby over 12.5 points tonight.
Oh, Anunoby getting it done here late night for the New York Knicks, again taking on Portland, who did happen to somehow or another win a game last night. Is kind of crazy there. I mean, I wouldn't hate looking at Brunson props either. I really wouldn't. I think there's an opportunity there tonight for maybe a couple of these Knicks to get it going, as well as, I mean, listen, Portland, if you watch that game last night, I mean, they weren't quitting. They're still playing hard there. They took Atlanta right to the wire and ended up getting it done. So hopefully it'll certainly with a couple of those guys to be able to get some points here tonight. We do have updates, though. I believe we're at the break with the Celtics and the Phoenix Suns, and 65-60 right now is what we're seeing in that one. Houston and Washington is an interesting one here. It looks like Washington is keeping this thing entirely too close. I'm not quite sure the Rockets are all banged up. They are home. This was another one of these games, Dave, tonight where I only looked to bet the Rockets at home anyway. Washington is hot trash. I think it was 6.5 when it was all said and done. The Rockets are probably the right side, and they've actually been playing really, really well over the last couple of weeks.
And I'm the reverse, because you're right about everything you said, the Rockets at home, but I'm like, it got to a point where it closed 8.5, a couple of joints out here, and I was like, this is too high. Yeah, closed 8.5. So
it closed 8.5. Interesting. I saw weird line movement on this game, so I took the points with the Wizards actually because it was a little fishy. I saw it looked like most of the action was coming in on the Rockets, but the line was moving in favor of the Wizards earlier this morning. So I think I got it at 7.5. I took 7.5 with the Wizards.
That's good.
Yeah, it closed 8.5. By the way, 2.7 seconds left. San Diego State's leading 73-71 with the ball. It's pretty much doesn't look good for the hometown Rebels. No good.
Can't even squeeze out another period. That's just awful there. It's terrible.
So you find a bet in this game, Joe, or do you find a bet in the Bucks and the Sixers? Because I'm so done with the Sixers. They're kind of like my other favorite team, and I always like to look at making a play. But Sixers Bucks, I'm looking, and it's under only. There's no other play when you look at that other than under for me. Unless Taylor found. Dee, you didn't find a prop in Sixers Bucks?
I didn't. I did not find a prop in that one. I let that one go to the side.
Yeah. Too much.
See, I actually went side in that game here, and I'll tell you why. Number one, I never like teams coming back after long road trips. That was a long road trip on the West Coast for the Milwaukee Bucks, who, by the way, I think they won one game while they were out there. First game back here in this spot. And you've got a Philadelphia team that has been, listen, they've had trouble scoring. We know that. They've dealt with some injuries, obviously. But what better way to get your offense back on track than to play the Milwaukee Bucks? I don't want to hear about how great their defense has got when Doc Rivers is there. 7.5 to me was a big number for a team that might be a little road weary here tonight. And, I mean, say what you want. I mean, we watched that Knicks game against the Sixers here back-to-back. They may not be scoring, but they're playing some defense, and they are balling out right now. So, and they happen to have the lead right now, 29-24 at the end of the first quarter in that one there. And the Clippers, by the way, dropped 37 on the Bulls in the first quarter, 37. But the Bulls are hanging in there, 37-28 right now, getting ready to start the second quarter there. Rockets up 33-28. We still got the Mavs, Thunder, and, of course, the Knicks and Portland coming up. All the sighing you're hearing is Dave Sharapan realizing the season is over for the UNLV Running Rebels. But it might also be a tough night for number 2 Duke in the ACC tournament. We'll give you an update on that when in-game live prime time. Across the board, we'll come back here. We'll get you updated on everything here on the grid.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Kentucky on the road as a 8-point dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you won it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes? And they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here to -170 price, followed by SGA at +250. Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything he's doing. I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live, all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live, and we are primetime here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan. Taylor Mathis hanging with you here on this Thursday. The madness off and running, and it keeps getting crazier here as Dave had kind of wished ill upon the Iowa men's basketball team, and he got his wishes. Number 10, Ohio State, got it done 90-78 over Iowa there, but that's all right. Iowa returned a favor by giving the bad juju there to UNLV, who ended up losing in overtime in the Mountain West there to San Diego State, 74-71. Yeah. Duke is also losing right now. Kind of crazy here, 58-52, 7.5 minutes to go. There were some, a lot of people believe just had penciled in North Carolina and Duke in an ACC battle, and then, of course, come tournament time. But North Carolina handled their business earlier today. Duke is in for a fight down the stretch here. We'll keep you posted on it. But we do also have some NFL headlines, because if you haven't heard, there's a lot of money exchanging hands and players getting exchanged and everything else. And you might have heard about Calvin Ridley leaving the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why? Because he got absolutely paid by who? The Tennessee Titans. Very strange. And our good friend Davis Maddock joined Coast to Coast earlier today, and here were his thoughts on this payday by the Tennessee Titans.
All right, your thoughts on some of the moves in football, like Ridley to the Titans, Mason Rudolph to the Titans, that we've seen over the last couple of days?
I mean, I like everyone else, was pretty blindsided by Calvin Ridley signing with the Titans. I guess sort of what they're thinking is, we've got this young quarterback, we got this guy Levis in the building, we might as well spend a little bit of money to see if he's any good. I don't think I would have given Calvin Ridley $92 million if I was a GM, considering that really they're just paying for the sins of the old general manager who had the opportunity to give A.J. Brown 4 years, $100 million, and opted to not do so.
Little head scratching here. Number one, that somebody would give Calvin Ridley 4 years and $92 million. I'm wondering if he bet that. And also, not just that somebody would give it to him, but Taylor, that it was the Tennessee damn Titans giving him this. I don't think anybody, all the pundits were like, wait, who gave him that money? I thought he was supposed to stay in Jacksonville.
Well, first of all, he stays in the AFC South, too, with going to the Titans, so that's crazy. And I'm a little mind blown. I was never expecting the Tennessee Titans to make this many off-season moves. They grabbed Tony Pollard from Dallas. Now they also signed Mason Rudolph from the Steelers, which I found interesting. A little expected that Mason Rudolph was probably going to leave after Russell Wilson decided he is now going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I just was not expecting him to possibly go to Tennessee. Makes me wonder if Tennessee, obviously they still have some question marks behind Will Levis, but there's going to be a little bit of competition there between Mason Rudolph and Levis now. And now you throw Calvin Ridley into the mix. The Tennessee Titans are making moves.
I didn't see it coming, Dave. I mean, Tennessee are they even sold on Will Levis? I mean, he's got to be ecstatic right now. Be like, dude, I got weapons, right?
Right. Yeah. And Tony Pollard. Don't forget Tony Pollard went there to run the ball. So the AFC South really got interesting in the last couple days. You're right. There's a lot of movement and a lot of, I mean, I can't believe there's so many moves and so many different people going different places, but there used to be a thing where you didn't go to your division rival and there was no chance. And like the Steelers signed Queen from the Ravens. That would have never happened. Like there is no more loyalty and there's no more I really don't like that team. You learn to like those teams and those colors if they give you the bag. And
all about the money.
Bag is talking, right? Yeah, cash.
Crazy.
Cash is king. It always wins in the end. So I don't know. None of these moves though affect the odds too much. I don't understand the money anymore. The money is so out of touch with regular people. And
ask Kirk Cousins. He knows well.
He's going to make more money
point.
in his career than Tom Brady made in his. And Kirk Cousins has one career.
I don't fault him.
I don't fault him either, but the numbers just don't add up.
Nope.
I saw a crazy clip today of Kirk Cousins when he started with Washington saying, yeah, I'd love to retire in Washington. Then they showed him with the Vikings saying, I'm going to retire a Viking. And now his recent press conference with the Atlanta Falcons saying, I'm going to retire in Atlanta. And then the caption was just, this man has the move figured out because he sells these teams that he's going to be with them for life, and he makes the money at the end of the day.
I mean, kudos to him. I mean, but again, I mean, there's how many of these positions in the world, and the NFL is still giving Joe Flacco money. So why not, Kurt? I mean, the guy has been.
Why would you? Flacco's catching strays right now. What are you talking about? What happened? I mean, he's going to the Colts.
I'm just saying, Joe Flacco, this was on a couch halfway through the season last year, and they ran out of quarterbacks in the NFL. They ran out of quarterbacks, and Joe Flacco was your final hope to make a run during the playoffs. Yes. So you want to know why he gets that money? That's why he gets the money. Why not? Listen, could have rolled Mark Sanchez off the couch and looked for butt fumble too and gave him a few bucks, but no, nobody was looking to do that, were they? I didn't think so. But speaking of butt fumble, what are we doing with Justin Fields here now, Taylor? I'm just curious here because it feels like nobody's talking to him. There's some conversation about, there's some interest, but what are we? Is it all smoke and mirrors?
I don't know. I thought for a minute we would maybe see the Vikings sign him. He'd stay in the NFC North and they would maybe fill in their quarterback question. But then, they just went out and they thought, hey, how about we give Sam Darnold a chance to fill in the shoes of Kirk Cousins here in Minnesota?
Wow.
Crazy move. I did not see that one coming. Did not expect that. And then you've still got Justin Fields out here possibly vying for a job. Does he stay in Chicago? Does he then start in Chicago if they get Caleb Williams? So many question marks regarding Justin Fields that I feel like he's being overlooked by everybody right now.
I could not agree more. You think he's staying, Dave?
I think so too.
Really?
I think options are done. I don't know. I think at this point it'll be something really surprising, or he's staying. Like there's a team out there that's either they're able to trade up and get the pick. I don't know. And could they possibly trade the number one pick 2 years in a row? Maybe.
Yes.
It's the Bears.
I wouldn't put anything past the Bears, right? Like your dad probably thinking the same thing. Like, are they going to do this again? Like, old-time Bear fans are probably driving themselves crazy right now, going, all this inactivity is worse than any move that we're making, unless they already have what they know they're doing.
Dave, you said the inactivity. What's going on in Dallas right now? My man Jerry Jones must be asleep at his desk or something.
I wasn't even going to mention it.
Don't even get me started on that. Everybody's going to be gone, and Jerry Jones is going to wake up from his nap and be like, oh, free agency's over.
Well, I will say this. The Dallas police are investigating Dak Prescott right now for an alleged 2017 sexual assault. He is in turn countersuing this person who accused him of that, of $100 million extortion plot here. So it's never dull in Jerry's world in Dallas. A whole lot going there. But I also did just see, it looks like Joey Bosa staying with the Chargers. Looks like he just got signed. We know Khalil Mack. So they are keeping some of the defensive pieces they overpaid for to begin with. And it looks like they are keeping some of them there now. But I do think, is there anybody? Miami has lost a lot, certainly on the defensive side. Yep. I mean, some of these teams just are going to look totally different. I am not a big fan of Aaron Jones leaving Green Bay, going to Minnesota. Kudos to Minnesota. I still don't know what the hell you did there. I really don't. But something tells me Philadelphia is in desperate mode. We saw this at the end of the Andy Reid era, if you remember, Dave. every big name, splashy offseason, right? Winning the offseason. And then with all of that name, you go down that roster and you're like, oh my goodness, this is easy. Yeah, they're going to be a 500 team next year. And the Giants are going to show up here. Most improved in the NFC East, Taylor, is going to be who?
Oh, in the NFC East, who's going to be the most improved? It's
Are you trying to get her to say
maybe Washington.
Is that the answer?
I would go with Washington. I did see that.
And Washington's got what? The number
Sam
2?
Howell.
Sam Howell. So, and they have the number 2 pick.
Seahawks. Yeah.
For more draft capital. The only question is, do we trust Dan Quinn?
No.
He knows the NFC East. He knows it better than anybody. I mean, so they got a ton of draft capital coming their way. They're going to get their quarterback. They are primed to make a run. But I also think what the Giants have done on the defensive side of the ball is pretty impressive, too. I think they're going to be really, really good here. But the whole question is, and I think you nailed it, Taylor, if I'm Chicago, okay, somebody is going to overpay to get that number 1 pick. So one of those teams below you is going to give you enough draft capital to rebuild your team 3 times over. It's going to be a fortune even to move up just from number 2 to number 1, right? If you're sold on Fields, then go ahead and drop a spot.
Give it away.
You know what I mean? Okay, go ahead.
Right.
Give it away. Again, you're going to get a ton in return if you're sold on Fields. I think this is a draft that can set Chicago up for years to come here.
I never wanted Chicago to get rid of Justin Fields in the first place. I thought it was way too premature that they were so quick to get rid of him. But if I were Justin Fields, I would be a little upset now if I get stuck in Chicago after everything that had been surrounding him this whole offseason. I did see, or I heard, he unfollowed the Chicago Bears organization on all social media recently. So he's not, and he said he doesn't want to see any more talks about him involving the organization, where he's going and what's going to happen. Totally understand. But at the same time, I'm like, there's a little animosity there, and I don't blame him. I would have some animosity too at that point if the organization I worked for has been up in the air about me this whole time.
This is so 2024. I can't keep track of this. Like, you unfollow people now, right? Like, this is what you do. There's millions of dollars in things at stake. And well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to unfollow everybody. I'm going to block everybody.
Just saying.
What are we doing? Get to camp.
Unless you're giving me a new deal. If you're giving me a new deal, I will follow you right back. I got no problem. I will unblock you and go to town. We are going to war here. It is that simple. All right, we'll come up with some best bets and an update next year on the Grid.
The Bostonian versus the book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is a guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 point dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you won it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes, and they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here to -170 price, followed by SGA at plus 250. Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to, like, 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, like something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything he's doing. Like, I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Well, thank you, Duke. We have some wonderful parting gifts for you here. Exit stage left now and never be heard from again as we welcome you back in, closing out hour number one here on In-Game Live PrimeTime. Joe Raineri, Dave Sharapan, Taylor Mathis. And Taylor, before we get you out of here, and by the way, 71-64, under a minute to go, North Carolina State on top of Duke right now. But we got another game coming up here tonight, Taylor, involving another frustrating team here. How about Villanova? Almost loses to DePaul last night. They win, and could this be the start of something good here, taking on Marquette a little bit later?
Oh, and that is actually exactly why I'm taking this play. I am going to lay that 4.5 points. I would play it up to even 5.5 with Marquette tonight against Villanova. This Villanova team, come on. You just said it. They almost just lost to DePaul, who's only won 3 games all season. Ken Pop has them ranked 316 right now as a team. How are you going to almost lose to a team like that? I think it's head-scratching, worrisome for Villa, and I'm all in on Marquette, although they're without their star player tonight. I still think they get it done. They're the better team offensively.
All right. So you heard it, Dave. I mean, Nova was by the skin of their chinny chin chin. Did they able to get that win out last night in the last second 3 there? But this Marquette still doesn't have Kolek. Does that worry you here, Dave?
Yeah, it does, actually. I was leaning Villanova before all this. I don't want T to think I'm going against you with all these teams because I came in on Ohio State and everything else. I think you convinced me more with the Portland play. You caught me out of left field with that one, but I like the Portland stuff. I got a friend named Palmetto Yinzer. He's watching the show right now. He said, you got Kim convinced too. First half, he's playing and game.
Wait a minute.
So
wait a minute.
You spoiled him.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. You have a friend? Unbelievable. Taylor Mathis, we certainly appreciate it, girl. Enjoy the night. Enjoy the games. We'll be back another hour coming up next here on the Grid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in. Off and running hour number 2 here at In-Game Live, and we are PrimeTime. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan as the madness, Dave, is in full effect here. The month of March is absolute craziness, and we've seen a bunch of it already. We've gotten a lot of overtime upsets, a lot of number 1 seeds in these conference tournaments bounced. We've got Duke on the verge of being bounced out here by NC State in the ACC. I mean, my goodness, Dave. Creighton was losing the entire game here to Providence, but it does look like Creighton has finally closed the gap here a little bit. I mean, buckle up here, my man, right? This is going to be a whole lot of fun, including watching Indiana beat Penn State should be maybe the best game of the night here. Did I say that
That's
out
not
loud?
funny.
I did.
That's not funny. That was, you see what I'm wearing? That's not funny, Raineri. That's not funny. All right, listen. It was nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me. Pitt won. They beat Wake Forest. That's where I'm from.
Good point.
Where'd I go to school? Pretty obvious. Penn State. They're beating Indiana, Joe. And despite what you said before the last quick break, my friend Palmetto Yinzer, I call him that because he calls himself that, but he's a Pittsburgh guy living down south where there's palm trees, just sent me to play. He said he likes Penn State. He's a professional. Joe, he's a professional at this. So he's got Penn State. He said, that's good. He just sent me a text, though. He said, can you ask Raineri what the hell's going on with Dayton? Because they're playing another Pittsburgh school, Duquesne, who we used to call Duquesne on the phone. Remember that back in the day when you called the guy about a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Said, hey, when you got Duquesne plus what? But they're beating Dayton.
So true.
This is unbelievable. Like, this is such a fun week because of the tournament games in the locations. Now, next week, there's less games. There's more games today than there are next week, and that's fine.
Yes.
But these swings, Joe, like, we're going to have to buckle up and stay ready if we're playing stuff in game and convince each other of plays like we did last night that didn't work out. We had a couple that didn't work out. I don't know what you did today, okay? I don't know what – you're busy. You're always working. You're doing all the other stuff, wager talk, this, that, walking the dog. I have a question to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you? Where were you early this morning? Because in Pittsburgh, it's Jaromir Jagr bobblehead night, okay? They're minus 300 favorites despite being 3-6-1 in their last 10 games.
Right.
It's a big celebration. They retired his number. It's only the third number ever retired in the rafters in Pittsburgh, where I watched him for a lot of years play. The bobbleheads are gone, Joe. They're gone.
Yes.
They didn't show.
The truck's
People had to walk in and get a voucher for this future bobblehead, and I thought, this is perfect. This is the way the Penguin season's going. They're playing the Sharks, and they might lose the game. I don't know. It was a big story trending on X, all over this stuff. We got a great graphic there. The bobbleheads are missing. I don't know where they're at. Do you know where they're at, Raineri? Because you're a guy who can get things like Red in Shawshank. Yeah. You are a guy who can get things. You know where those bobbleheads are, Joe?
I have a theory here on what might have happened there, knowing
Hold on.
Jagr did spend some time. Just saying. I mean, Jagr spent some time down here in South FLA, so I am just saying there might it wouldn't put it past him where he might have been out celebrating the whole retiring thing last night. Forgot what night it was, kind of went to the stadium and realized, oh, look at that. It's a truck with my bobblehead in it. probably my truck. I think Yager accidentally stumbled upon that truck and stole it, thinking that it was calling him with all of basically him in the back there with that truck. So I think he's going to return it. I think eventually he'll leave the keys in it. He'll be fine. He'll never admit to it, but it would not shock me if Yager had maybe a little too much fun last night, got his dates mixed up with the time change and all, and actually stole the truck by accident. So I think all will work out here with Yager bobblehead. I can't promise, however, that Pittsburgh's going to beat the Sharks here as, 3-3, Dave? How much time do we have left in this thing?
10
Please
minutes.
tell me it's almost over.
Oh, no,
no.
third period. Hold on, let me hit refresh. No, the third period just started. Okay, so we got the whole third period. The game's already over the total. Don't worry about the total.
You got some time.
That. Yeah, so there's time. But there's time to lose, too. Everything's going bad. Everything's going bad.
Time to lose. Yes.
Yeah, this is not good.
But, by the way, Duquesne here is actually giving the lead back here. It was not a good start, by the way, for Dayton. They started 4 of 21 to start the game, 1 of 8 from 3. Not great. And you know what? It's a good point, Dave, too, to bring up that a lot of these tournaments are in new locations. The sight lines for some of these teams and these games, we're starting to see, like Penn State, for instance, we started to be. This isn't at Assembly Hall here coming up tonight, right?
No.
Penn State and Michigan were 150.5 as a total last night. They could have played the game 3 times, added it up, and still not got to 150 points. It's worth noting that some of these conference tournaments are in buildings that a lot of these kids just aren't. They're not shooting the same. It takes them a little while, Dave.
JY told me this last year. Sometimes the team gets one shoot around before they actually play the first game. That's a tough spot. Play any sport,
Big time.
So a lot of unders, a lot of low scoring, tight games sometimes between two teams on the same level. Dayton and Duquesne are not even close to the same level. I don't think so.
I don't think.
But we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
Well, notoriously, is the Barclays Center is a notorious underbuilding when they play the games there for college and the conference tournament, the Big East. The Barclays Center, or Atlantic 10, I think, is playing there right now.
They are.
It is.
Right. Okay.
There's something in that. The lights and the black background for the nets is terrible. Is absolutely terrible. Notorious unders at the Barclays here. So I have to keep an eye on that.
You just said lighting, and I looked down, and the Lightning just scored. It's now 3-3 against the Rangers. This is a really crazy night in hockey.
Why is Duke still playing? Why is the Duke game still going on? No, it's not over. That's the problem here. They're like a bad rash. You can't get rid of them here. We'll update you when InGame Live Primetime continues here on the grid.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 point dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina, as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you on it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes? And they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here to -170 price, followed by SGA at plus 250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything he's doing. I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
InGame Live All Access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
InGame Live, PrimeTime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
InGame Live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live. We are prime time here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan. It is official. We will not have to refer to the Duke Blue Devils for the rest of the weekend here now, as they just got upended, and it is official, by NC State. 74-69. Now, Duke, number 11 team in the country, number 2 seed in the ACC tournament. The number 1 seed, North Carolina, handled business against Florida State earlier today. They advanced. NC State doing a great job here. Listen, this team was always better than what we saw during the regular season. We all kind of had a feeling about that. And they're winning games here that they probably shouldn't win as a number 10 seed. But you know what? That is what March Madness is all about here. I'm having a hard time getting over the Big East and Creighton about to lose to Providence. This line last night, Dave, was 9. I think it closed at 6.5 or 7. But again, laying 6.5, 7, and losing outright to Providence is not good if you are a Creighton backer thinking this team could roll through the Big East and maybe even have a shot at a national championship. Yeesh.
No, but you know, Duke was favored by 11. They lost. So favorites lose, dogs win outright. What about Nevada, Joe? They're playing Colorado State right now. It's the next game up here in Vegas, Mountain West game. Let's see. The line was 3. Any opinion on that game? 2.5, 3. There's the total, 138.5. Wasn't real excited about this one. I think this is a pretty evenly matched game, so I really didn't have a side. Under was the only thought, but nothing strong. How about you?
You know what it is with Nevada? I took them, I think it was 5-1 to win the Mountain West, because I thought San Diego State was just entirely too chalky in this one here. So I did. I took them to win it. And listen, far be it for me with this team. This team does not shoot the 3 very well. But what they do extremely well is they get turnovers and they get to the foul line a ton, and they're very good at making them. So Nevada is one of these teams come crunch time where I'd much rather have a ticket on them if we think it's going to be a close game, which I think we're here, right? As opposed to betting against them simply because they've already proven they can close out games. If it's a 3-point affair you're looking for in those games, probably not going to get it. But they have some of the best guards in the Mountain West, experience and tremendous ability to draw the foul and get to the free throw line when it matters the most. So I thought they were dangerous. Having said that, Colorado State, pretty good win last night. This is a team that can shoot lights out here, Dave. But I still think Nevada's the better team, no?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Gotta be.
The last game at the Mountain West is New Mexico and Boise. You want to talk about a coin flip game. I like Boise in the game only because I saw New Mexico and play UNLV, and I have that. Sometimes you get a view in your mind of a team that you can't get out, and that's usually a bad thing. But I like Boise in the game. That game's tonight. I'm going to try to get down there and maybe see that. Pick up -1, Boise, 153. High-scoring game. Should be entertaining, no?
Well, Jamal Mashburn played yesterday against Air Force, and he lit him up here. He's been injured, and he obviously is a huge part of New Mexico here. He is good to go. He is good to go here tonight. It was confirmed. But here's the problem, Dave. Like New Mexico, there is no tomorrow. So their backs are absolutely against the wall with how they have lost some atrocious games there. So I do think New Mexico is back against the wall with Mashburn in there. They're a dangerous team. And Boise State, what happened to them down the stretch, Dave? They ended up losing some games that they probably should not have lost here. Call me crazy. They're not a great efficiency team when it comes to playing other teams that go up tempo. And you and I both know, that Pitino and company there, they're going to run. They're going to run a lot tonight with New Mexico. They're going to try and get this thing into a track meet. And if Boise State can't stop that, it's not going to be good for them here. But I still think Boise State might. You mentioned it. How many teams do you have coming out of the Mountain West? 4 or 5? I
think it's 5. And now it's going to be dependent on how these other tournaments finish. Duke is out. Is one of these other teams going to play their way in? From the ACC? Because, I was talking to K-Dub on Game Time Decisions, and I was saying, look, if you take it by actual, results or, what you've earned, the ACC should really only get 2 teams in. I don't think the ACC is very good. Clemson just lost. BC and Virginia are coming up right now. And the story of the BC-Virginia game is the total. 125 in a college basketball game. And the only thing I would do with that total is under. There's no point. You haven't got to that number yet where I go, oh, give me the over. The point spread's only 5.5, depending on where you look. And, if we got that board, you can see it now. You see Virginia will get to play BC. And now I think they'll play NC State. Is the way this will work out, right? So they can have their ticket punched to the semifinal and final by not playing anybody. They're going to be favored the whole way. So I don't know. It's crazy.
I don't know that I'm sleeping though. I give them all the credit in the world. I was, yesterday on Game Time Decisions, I was screaming it from the rooftops that this kid Quentin Post for Boston College, I watched him dismantle Miami in the first game, and I said, Clemson better be careful. Clemson beat him earlier this year. He was a late scratch in that game. My goodness, he is a absolute beast there in the middle. Problem is, this is going to be the third game in what? 3-3 now here? Yeah, it's going to be a problem. And we've got a rested Virginia team who, if they don't want you to score, is not going to let you score. It's as simple as that. It's a neutral court. And I do think that, given the experience, given the fresh legs, I would certainly lean towards Virginia here, but it's already been bet up to what, 5.5? I mean, wasn't this thing, what was it to start with this morning? I mean, it was 3, I thought, 2.5, 3. Oh, they got all the way up to 5. So, let me see. Virginia was, they were a little less than $2 on the money line. So probably about 3.5, 4.5, somewhere in that ballpark there. They're a great story, BC. Don't get me wrong, but styles make fights, and the suffocating defense there of Virginia might make those tired legs here of BC a little bit of a problem here. And by the way, that was a physical game against Miami. It was a physical game last night against Clemson too. So do you give the edge? You know what, Dave? Virginia wins the first half, they win the game. If they're losing at the first half, then BC's got a chance, because Virginia's not built to come from behind.
Right.
And you'll know it if they can make a 3. And
Dog,
A&M
you're more
looks like they're going to hold
Joe.
on and beat Ole Miss. Oh,
Dog, you're
God.
more interested
oh,
in
no.
Villanova against Marquette, Cincinnati against Baylor.
Oh, no, I'm all in on Baylor. I got 3 mortgages out on Baylor here tonight. So not backing Cincinnati in any way, shape, or form. If the bus breaks down and they get disqualified, so be it here. We'll have more on it when we get back.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in, because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if they make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too, because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you won it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes, and they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here at a -170 price, followed by SGA at +250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, like something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything he's doing. I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart Team.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, PrimeTime.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back in-game live. We are prime time here on this Thursday as the madness is off and running here. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan as we have a couple of updates for you here. We'll start in the NBA, and anybody who thought the Suns were going to go on the road to the Boston Garden and give the Celtics the business. Oh, boy. 116-98, Celtics handling their business there against the Suns. Also, Clippers running away from the Bulls 80-63. That wasn't hard to imagine. How about the Sixers taking it to the Bucks here, Dave? Getting 7.5 pre-flop, 64-56. And the Rockets pulling away from the Wizards here, 78-63. We got Mavs, Thunder, Knicks, Blazers still coming up in that one. And did your Pittsburgh Penguins finally take the lead against the Sharks in the third?
They did. They must have found the bobbleheads. It's 5-3. 5-3 Penguins.
Woo.
Good score for hockey. 2-2 Senators and Blue Jackets. Nobody's watching that one. Can't believe that one's not going over. Islanders getting smoked by the Sabres.
What?
One of my favorite. Smoked 4-0 Sabres. That was just that you knew that was happening. I'm actually surprised the Hurricanes are shutting out your Florida Panthers, Joe. This is one of those games.
I mean, that's
under, but a shutout. This is a preview, maybe the Eastern Conference Finals, or is the Rangers and Lightning could be a preview of the Eastern Conference Finals. Tied 3-3. Canadians and Bruins tied 1-1. Ugly. Coyotes winning at Detroit 3-1, third period, 3 minutes or 7 minutes to go. Maple Leafs beat the Flyers 3-1, end to 2. Scorefest in Dallas. Devils lead the Stars 5-2 with 8 minutes to go in the second period. Wild handling the Ducks. The Kraken are playing the Capitals tonight. And, I mean, the Caps got just smoked
lit up
by Edmonton, right? You come back tonight and you play the Kraken, or do you come back tonight and play the Caps? I mean, a game, for me, I'm still not sure about the total. You dangled as 5.5 and you go, oh my God, this is definitely going over. But can't decide. I really can't decide on the total. I think the Kraken win the game, though.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Tampa scores on this power play, look at that. They just did 4-3 over the Rangers. I would definitely look to, as the Ranger fans, as you can hear in the earpiece, that oh God, yes, Tampa scores on the power play there. Kind of hard to trust Washington, isn't it, though? I mean, it really is at this point, Dave. It's brutal here. I still think that Seattle's one of those teams that is just underperformed. I think they are better or have more talent than what we have seen at times. So, I think not a bad way to look at them here and get it done, although it's been a rough stretch, no doubt.
Yeah. There's teams playing themselves into the stretch run of the last 3 weeks of March and the beginning of April. And there's teams playing themselves out. The Sabres are a team playing themselves in. The Islanders, I told Kurtz this the other day, and I wasn't just taking a shot at him, but I don't think the Islanders are playing their way in. I think they peaked a little too early. They're playing their way out. The Capitals are hanging around, despite the fact that they got beat up last night. They're hanging around. And you got to wonder, with this West Coast trip and that Western Canada swing is so hard late in the season. I think the Kraken put one on them tonight. They could see this one being 4-1, Kraken in regulation. I don't know. That's where I'm at with the hockey. Go back to the college hoops, Joe. Have you heard about this Temple stuff? Have you heard about, Temple and points and not points and whether there's shenanigans going on? They're playing SMU tonight, right? This is in Fort Worth, Texas, the American Conference. Temple's an 11.5 point dog. 11.5.
Wow.
NC State just beat Duke as 11.5-point dog. Temple, dog, plus the points, or they get run out the building?
Well, it depends. Any idea on who they bet on? Because that would probably be a good indicator as to where. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not. No. Yeah, I would say, hey, where there's smoke, there is absolutely fire here. And when there is a missed three, there is a lack of a cover. Thank you very much, there, Old Miss. As Texas A&M and Buzz Williams get it done here. Temple, as soon as that story came out, though, they've actually played some of their better games as of the minute they thought everyone was going. So, I mean, call me crazy. I think might be a decent opportunity to ride that train. Why not? Like you said, we've already seen upsets after upset after upset. It is madness after all, but I don't even know if I can really consider Villanova an upset, though, without Kolek, because I really do feel like that's the right side.
I got one. This is not an upset. This would be a big one if it happens. Okay, go to the SEC, right? The last game of the night in the SEC. You got Georgia playing Florida, 7.5. Last night it was Wetzel's Black Cloud Special. He took Georgia -3 against Missouri, who hadn't won a game in 2024 and went 0 in the conference. They somehow came back and beat Missouri. I thought for sure he put the black cloud on him and was not going to win the bet. He ended up winning. Georgia wins by 5. The game is going over. I can tell you that right now.
Okay.
As an odds maker, you try to set a number so you know what the first bet is on the under. And you can't put it too high, because if you get 2 bets on the under and you're supposed to need the under, that's a problem. So this number is not high enough. I like the over, and I like Florida. Tell me why I'm right or wrong.
I'm worried about the over. Typically, Florida teams, Florida, you'd have no problem looking at the over, right? Because of their ability to match really team point for point. They're up tempo. They do like to shoot the threes here. Again, it's the neutral site situation. And if you're Florida, you got a game tomorrow. So if it is as dominant as I think it's going to be, because Georgia can't shoot free throws, and Georgia, it's not good. Georgia just happened to barely beat Missouri, who, by the way, has not won an SEC game all year. They went the entire year without winning a game in conference. I still don't know how they managed to lose this game last night. But Florida, I mean, listen, you win and you advance. You still got a few other games here. So I'm worried about this idea that it's just going to be a free-for-all to the end. But I don't hate the over. I would much rather think if this thing goes over, it's because Florida blows the doors off and I might have no problem laying the 7.5. Yeah, I think that's probably a way to look.
Yeah, I hate needing the other team to get a certain number of points to get the over. Like, I agree. You're right. This could be a blowout, 85-60, and we don't get there because it's Georgia only puts up a low number.
Not a blowout like what Indiana is doing right now to Penn State. I don't know if you let me see if I can get you.
Oh, no? Let it go.
Well, I'm just saying, you mentioned blowout, and there was kind of a blow. All right, I'll let that go. 20-13 here. 8.5 to go. But again, Dave, 137.5 is the in-game total here. They're not getting to 140. I mean, I just don't see these.
Under.
Don't see it. Under.
Agree.
Under. And I also think Stanford gets crushed tonight.
Should I go to the T-Mobile tonight and see Utah, Colorado? Yes. It's a good point spread, right? Pac-12.
Yep.
Last year, what do we got? 4.5, 3.5 here, 4.5, couple places, 151.5. This is pure entertainment. Over.
Kind of like it, Dave.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's over.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Colorado's a very good shooting team. I mean, a very, very good shooting team here. And I think that points are going to be needed if they're going to win this game here tonight. And I think when it's all said and done, we're going to have way more points on the board. Utah just dropped how many last night, Dave? 90, I think, on this court.
Oh, the game went way over. Yeah, no, I think they had. Did they get triple digits? They came just short of.
No, I think they got 90.
Yeah,
and they're going to need that again here tonight if they're going to get this thing to go up and over, because Colorado's going to get theirs for sure.
Right.
Arizona State, I think they had 4 guys on the roster to play last night, so it's no wonder they got 90. But that's not going to be a problem here tonight for Colorado. So I'm expecting points. I'm also taking Nova to up it, or at least stay within a bucket here of, a Kolek-less Marquette team. Why not? Let's see if they got a little more magic. And 139.5 feels like maybe a under in that one, too, as well. We'll talk to Cam Stewart, though. We'll get his thoughts on some of these games coming up when In-Game Live Primetime continues.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in, because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if they make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That one year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too, because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8 dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you on it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes? And they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here to -170 price, followed by SGA at +250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything he's doing. I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live, all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live. We are prime time here on the SportsGrid Network as the madness continues here. College basketball. Got a couple NBA games getting ready to start, too, at the top of the hour. Although when I say NBA games, I'll say lightly, as these two games are not pretty with double-digit spreads, but I can't think of anybody I'd rather go dumpster diving with than our man Cam Stewart here, stepping up here with Dave Sharapan. And Cam, the NBA, two games, one at 12.5, one at 10. Yeah, that's not great, but there is some college basketball. And I don't know if you noticed, the Rangers just gave up 3 goals in 30 seconds.
Yeah, Joe, I'm on the Rangers, so I kind of, that's the way things are going.
What the hell
I bet the Leafs, I know, honestly, I'm like, what's happening tonight? Like, I just don't, you know what I mean? Wow. Like, it's amazing to me some nights I'm looking at the board going, if things just ended in the second period, I'm winning every game. And then at the end of the night, I'm like, whoa, what happened? Even last night, Joe, I told Dave, like, with Wetzel, I was almost embarrassed to admit it that I like Missouri. They were beating Georgia like the whole night till the last minute of the game. And then they keep on fouling at the end. Like, I know it's a stupid pick. I'm betting on a team that lost 18 games in a row. But Georgia's no world beaters either. They were winning. I'm just like, and Cal they were beating Stanford the whole time, and they went to overtime. Like, I'm telling you, Dave, thank God for golf. These bad beats in this college tournament, these games are tough. I want to take dogs. Joe, I think you're on Dayton. I got Duquesne plus 7.5 at the start of the day, so maybe we can middle this bad boy. I don't know how you guys feel about the games at night. Joe, I love your style. Riverside. We'll go. That's coach's team. Riverside. Yeah, we want you. You like Big West late night basketball, degenerate plays. Riverside, friend of the program. And I'll tell you one more thing. I don't know if I'm right or wrong here, but it's going to be a great game. My game of the night, Dave. You know the way I roll, Joe. You know the way I roll. New Mexico and Boise State. That line is flipped. I'm taking Boise State plus the points. I don't know how you guys feel about this game. I'm getting 1.5. One of my books has a 2 with juice. I'm like 2. Like wasn't Boise minus 1.5 at the start? Dave, tell me, like, just from the book's perspective, how you look at that line
plus
move.
1.5.
Like, why are people taking New Mexico? Boise State's pretty good team too. Like, that should be a great game. I like Boise myself, but
I think it's one of those games that it's a coin flip. And if you get any money to push you one way or the other, you just have to flip it. There's no going to pick. You just it's an immediate just flip and see if you can get the money back. And then as long as the game don't fall one, the book's happy. So I'm leaning Boise too. I think the game goes under, just kind of looking at the total. But I mean, I couldn't wait to see you and talk to you about the Orleans Arena game with the WAC conference. I mean, you got to have something here. Stephen F. Austin, UT Arlington. There's got to be a play here and something. This is a Cam special.
Dave,
give it to him.
I gotta be honest with you. After the roaches and rats that I found in the dumpster when I was actually going for, I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, the best cappers in the world. Like, how am I? Like, I went on Missouri. I'm the type of idiot that bets like. Didn't they what do they say, Joe? Don't catch a falling knife. That's Steve Merrill's line. All correct. I do is try to catch knives with my mouth. And next thing you know, my whole face is hacked up. I'm an idiot. Like, I bet on Missouri. They were leading the whole game, but at the end, they didn't cover by a couple points because those meatballs just kept on fouling. And then Cal and you know what, Dave? I can't. There's only so much a man can take. I'm going to ride with Boise tonight. No, hey. Riverside's going to be, it's not a dumpster dive. It's a cool game. Joe likes Riverside. I'm down with the program. Riverside and Boise State, those are my allies. Seattle Kraken in hockey, I like them in regulation, and I will lay 1.5 in this game, and I will go over. The Washington Capitals, this road trip will be their death. They lost last night. They got slaughtered in Edmonton. If they come back and beat Seattle, I'll be very impressed. But this is the trip. Me and Gabe talked about it last night. You're going into all these places. You're going to Edmonton. You're going to Seattle. You're going out west. I just don't think the Washington Capitals are great. And I think Seattle can, like, at home. I know the price is crazy high. That's why you got to put it in a parlay. I'll lay the 1.5 and I'll take them in reg. And I actually like the over in the game. Washington's defense has been deplorable. Edmonton scored what? They scored 7 on them last night. Hyman with the natural hat trick. So we're going to ride the over there.
Cam, so you have Mizzou last night, and I think the handicap was right. I think the handicap was right until the end when they don't cover by a point or two. But now Georgia is playing Florida, and as a lifelong gambler and somebody who knows, like, you got to tell people, like, you can't just like anger bet Florida because you know Mizzou didn't get Georgia got you last night. A lot of people would come back, but I love Florida today.
So
I don't
do I.
like Florida. Like, I love Florida tonight.
I'm with you, Dave. I'm going to be honest with you, though. The Bulldogs, like, that's one team. Like, I don't know what it is with Georgia sports. Like, when in football, when I want to go against them, I try to be a hero. Like, they'll find a way to get a late touchdown and stuff. It's just they're one of those programs. Hey, listen.
Okay.
Liam Morency went to the national championship game with Tim Tebow when it was Florida versus Oklahoma. He got kicked out of the game. He was like getting wild with like Gator fans. So yeah, and I'm literally crawling in like weeds and no taxis picking me up. I'm not sure if anybody's ever been to that area of Miami. I thought I was coming back in a body bag. It was so scary, Joe. Like, I was crawling like I was in like the deep woods of Vietnam. I was scared as hell. And I'm like crying and nobody's picking me up. I see these guys on a porch. I got tons of money in my pocket. I'm like, God help me. Just get me back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And one guy took mercy on me, and I rolled out to him and opened up the car door. He's like, no stops. Let's go. But anyway, yeah, Dave, I like the Florida Gators. I don't care what happened that night. Yeah, Florida. I'm with you. Golf, I don't know, Joe, I talked about this too. Actually, I had a piece of Wyndham Clark. I don't know how you feel about this, Joe, but this guy is unbelievable. Like, I don't know how he, like, just his strength now, the way he plays. He's a dangerous guy, but I'm going to give you one. I'm already on Wyndham Clark, and he's tied for the lead. I actually have Hoagie Sandwich at 75-1. He's 2 back, but just from watching the golf today, and you know this guy can let you down, Joe, but Matt Fitzpatrick showed me a lot today, and he's one of those guys when he feels it, like, you'll either miss a cut or almost win and be there. And I think at 22-1 on FanDuel he's 20, on my other book he's 22. Matt Fitzpatrick, I think, is a very dangerous live bet in the tournament. I know everyone's going to go Scotty Scheffler. He didn't have his A game, and he's still right there. Only 2 shots back, but this is a great tournament, Joe. Like, Rory is there. Schauffele finally showed up for a bit. It's only 1 round. You know, Wyndham Clark, a guy that's been knocking on the door. So should be a lot of fun at the Players for over the next couple days. Oh, yeah, by the way, I won all my matchup bets because Tom Kim withdrew. I had like 6 guys against him. So that went well.
Oh, those are always good.
Well, that's a great way to cash if you take it. It does feel very U.S. Open-ish with the top of this leaderboard here with these guys. So it should be a hell of a golf tournament. Finally, some names up at the top that we can all rally around here instead of having some sort of amateur or 5,000-1 dude that nobody's ever heard of ends up winning the tournament. So I think that's better for the PGA Tour as we get ready for, of course, the Masters being right around the corner. Are you taking a flyer ahead of time with the futures in a Master? Anybody that you think tickles your fancy, or depends on who wins the Players here?
I already got Matsuyama, like, when he was struggling, so he's in the bank, and we don't know about his health. Like, we talk about it, he's always got some kind of neck problem, but you know, Joe, when he feels it at Augusta, he's one of the best iron players. It's all about making a few putts. So I think he's a very, very dangerous player. Zalatoris isn't playing well now. He's actually 2 over today.
No.
So I'll give people some advice. We're going to get a wicked price on him now heading into Augusta. It's really hard to make the Masters your first win, but I think he's a guy that I would look at. Live tennis, I don't know what happened with the bees in that match with, oh my God, did you hear that? Like, there was a bee attack in the men's tennis match with Alcaraz. Like, I'm like, oh my God, there's bees.
Yep.
But I like Navarro versus Sakari. We got her basically when she was down. You got to lay 40 cents now, but I like Emma Navarro live over Maria Sakari women's tournament right now, and tied 4-4 in the first. That's who I'm taking. Navarro.
Cam,
you didn't bet Washington State?
I love Washington. Joe, Like Dave wears Penn State, I wear crimson. As I find my wife. And the best was when Stanford was up, I'm like, excellent. This is exactly what I needed. Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm not doing. It's weird. Like Dave knows me too. Like my sports, like usually I do like pretty good in hockey. Sometimes hockey's killing me right now. Like I was on the Rangers, and like I'm just like whoa. Let's just stick to golf, tennis, like. Kind of like Morency, you know, he's hanging out with those F1 snobs now, right? So I'm going to be like hanging out in the golf course, country club cam, tennis and golf. That's the way I roll right now.
As long as you know the yardage and you hit the right club, it don't matter anyway. So that's fine. I knew you had Washington State. What I don't know is Utah and Colorado late night. You guys will be on Sports Rage talking about it. That's the last Pac-12 game of the night.
Mm-hmm.
This one almost looks too easy, Cam. I'm looking at this going, why isn't this 6? Colorado's going to beat Utah. How is this only 3.5? What am I missing? The total's 151.5. It should be an entertaining game. Should go over that number. It looks so easy. What do you think?
Yeah, I got to be honest with you, Dave, but that's my flaw as a gambler, and you know me. When I see trick lines, like that's when I bet like Cal when Stanford beat them by 30, and they were the whole game they were there, but that's what bad teams do. They collapse at the end. So I don't know. Utah looked pretty good, but you guys brought up a great point. I was listening. Arizona State was pretty beat down, but I'm not. You know what, Dave? I'm not confident Colorado's like that much better than Utah. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Like Utah can play sometimes. I got to be honest with you, Dave. For me, it'd be Utah or nothing, but I don't feel strongly about that game.
Yeah.
What happened to the freaking Buffalo Sabres all of a sudden? Are these guys going to make the playoffs?
Yes. They got a shot, Cam. They got a shot.
It's happening it's all.
I wouldn't want to play them.
Where was this all year when I was taking this team? Like now it's just like, what are you doing?
I wouldn't want to bet them. Who would want to play them early on in the playoffs? They got tremendous goaltending, and now they can score. I mean, they're a dangerous team here because they can drop 6 goals on you, no problem here.
That's the thing about hockey. It's not like the NBA. This Luukkonen guy they got in net has got confidence now. They're shutting out teams. They're scoring goals. They beat like 7-2 win, 4-0 win. Like they're really figuring it out. And that's a dangerous thing because in hockey, you get a hot goaltender. I don't care who you are. You can beat anybody.
Cam, where are the
bobbleheads?
Where are the Yager bobbleheads, Cam? Have you heard this story?
Oh, yes. Yo, Dave, I was going to text you.
Where are the bobbleheads?
Who stole them? The Russian, what's going on here? Like, Yager used to be involved in a lot of crazy stuff. Does he got some gangsters that, like, robbed the semi-truck?
That's what I'm thinking.
Like, what's...
I thought he got drunk and stole it. I thought he stole it, and he like accidentally thought it was his truck.
You know what?
And he's like, "Oh, look
you're the best." Yeah, Yager basically held up his own truck. He's got like 500 boxes of his bottle of bobbleheads that he will sell through other people for cash. Right? Stranger things have happened.
It's an old school move.
Just saying,
the truck doesn't make it to the place.
Might be paying off Uncle Nunzio. It happens here. Cam Stewart, we love you, brother.
Love you, Joe.
Up the top of the hour. We'll close it out next.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
In the Big Ten, it's the same thing. No offense to you guys. This feels like the Penn State rule. This feels like this is the guaranteed Penn State to get in.
We need to find a way to let them in because they can't beat Michigan. They can't beat Ohio State. But if we make them a third,
they get in.
Third,
this is the Penn State rule.
Be better than the West half.
Yep.
That 1 year that Lightning in a Bottle catches on the West half, we'll let them in too because they'll bring people.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Kentucky on the road as a 7-8-point dog, beat Tennessee by 4. North Carolina as a 5.5 point underdog, beat Duke on the road.
I took Kentucky plus the points. I think you on it as well. I even said I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. I'm not shocked. They're just that good. It's can they be focused for 40 minutes, and they actually played, I guess you would call it somewhat defense.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How about this? Nikola Jokic, heavy favorite here to -170 price, followed by SGA at +250, and Luka Doncic at a 7-1 price.
It would require a whole lot from Luka to, like, 15 of the next 20 games he has to have triple doubles, like something absurd. And it really just comes down to Jokic being amazing, doing everything he's doing. Like, I hate to say it, but he's probably had this locked up the second Embiid was announced out.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Pro League Soccer, powered by Marca.
I would be willing to bet the under 2.5 goals.
Fantasy sports today.
Especially in head-to-head formats in fantasy, I think I'm going to go with Juan Soto.
Game time decisions.
People don't like it. I don't really care. I cannot believe anybody is betting the Clippers at this number.
Betting above the rim.
All I've heard you say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Nobody has been more profitable as a dog than Shaka Smart teams.
Winning back-to-back road games. I don't care if they're playing Topeka High. I wouldn't give them any chance whatsoever.
In-game live, prime time.
Back-to-back, just utterly stinker quarters.
In-game live, overtime.
Honestly, as you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, the decision has been made here as we close out this edition of In-Game Live Primetime on the SportsGrid Network. We want to thank you so much for hanging with us here. Joe Raineri alongside Dave Sharapan. Again, Cam Stewart, Sports Rage coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But the decision has been made, Dave, that I am joining you in this Penn State quest at plus money now. Now is the time to jump in against Indiana. I am doing it. They're down 32-27 at the break. I'm seeing plus 180, and I think they win this game outright. So I'm going Penn State with you here, man. Are you waiting to jump in here?
No, I already got them a little pregame, so I might have to go get a little bit more now that I know Raineri's involved. And cost average the price a little bit better in my favor. Listen, they're going to tie the game. They're going to tie the game at some point. You just have to be ready to abort the mission if it's not going to happen.
Yes.
You have to know when to pull that ripcord and go, okay. But I'm telling you right now, if they win this game tonight, I'm going to reach out to Pharrell because he went to Indiana.
Yes.
And, we took down Michigan, get Indiana. I'm not even afraid to say it. I'm going to sleep in this jacket and this hat. I'm keeping it all on.
I love it.
We got one done.
Absolutely.
You know the gambler mentality. I wore this yesterday on the show, the exact jacket and hat combo, and they won. I said, well, Raineri didn't see it. Jack didn't see it. I'm wearing it again today. Tomorrow,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't do it.
Penn State.
It ain't broke.
Joe, I'm going to say we are. You say
plus 180?
We are.
Plus 180. That's all we're on. We are plus 180 right now, and I'm hitting it, and that's all that matters. I will not refer to it by name. They will leave that to Cam and Gabe coming up. And, of course, Dave and I will be back again at some point here, I think, as we get ready for more madness. Until then, best of luck with the plays tonight. We'll talk to you again soon.